Did you know the United States government once handed poison pills to the mafia and asked them to murder a foreign leader? And the mobsters actually said yes. The full story is stranger than any spy novel ever written. But there's a detail buried in this saga that changes everything about how you understand your own government. And what happened to the man at the center of it all will stop you cold. This story keeps resurfacing because declassified documents continue to reveal just how far intelligence agencies were willing to go during the Cold War, and how those decisions echo in the covert operations happening right now. The key players: Johnny Roselli, a smooth-talking Chicago outfit mobster with Hollywood connections. Robert Maheu, a former FBI agent turned CIA cutout. CIA Director Alan Dulles, who greenlit the operation. And of course, the target, Fidel Castro. None of them were who they appeared to be. The number that stopped me cold is coming up. Let's start where most people never look: the recruitment. In 1960, the CIA didn't walk into a government office to find their assassin. They walked into a Las Vegas casino. Robert Maheu, operating as a go-between, approached Johnny Roselli at the Brown Derby restaurant in Beverly Hills. The pitch was almost absurd in its simplicity. The US government wanted Castro dead, and they needed men who knew how to kill without leaving fingerprints. Roselli didn't hesitate. He brought in two heavyweights, Sam Giancana, the boss of the Chicago outfit, and Santos Traficante Jr., the Florida mob boss who had personally lost casinos worth millions when Castro nationalized Havana's gambling operations. This wasn't just patriotism. This was revenge. The mob had run Havana like a private playground throughout the 1950s. Lavish casinos, nightclubs, drug pipelines, and Castro had burned it all to the ground overnight. So when the CIA came calling, it was a marriage of mutual fury. According to All That's Interesting, Roselli and the other mobsters agreed to collaborate with the CIA to kill the Cuban leader, but Castro was able to evade everything they threw at him, from poison pills to snipers to midnight boat raids. By the way, if this kind of story grabs you, hit like. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who care about the parts of history that got buried. What I'm about to show you is the part most people are missing. Here's what the standard telling leaves out. The CIA initially wanted a straightforward gangland-style shooting. Giancana refused. He told them a gun assassination would be too dangerous for the operatives and too traceable. Instead, the mob pushed for poison. The CIA's Technical Services Division, their gadget lab, actually produced botulinum toxin pills designed to dissolve in Castro's food or drink. These pills were passed through a chain of intermediaries to contacts inside Cuba, including someone with access to one of Castro's favorite restaurants. The first attempt failed because the pills wouldn't dissolve properly. They literally fell apart. The CIA went back to the lab. New pills were produced. Those were smuggled into Havana, and they sat in a freezer for weeks because the restaurant employee lost his nerve or lost his access, depending on which declassified account you read. Think about what that means. The most powerful intelligence agency on the planet, allied with the most ruthless criminal organization in the Western Hemisphere, couldn't kill one man on a small island 90 miles from Florida. Other schemes followed. Exploding seashells to be planted in Castro's favorite diving spots, a contaminated diving suit, Sniper teams positioned along motorcade routes. Commando raids launched from boats in the dead of night. Every single one failed. Castro's security apparatus, trained in part by Soviet advisors, was simply too effective, or Castro himself was simply too lucky. Stay with me. The last part is what actually matters. Here's the detail that changes everything. Johnny Roselli didn't just walk away from this story. In 1975, the Church Committee, a Senate investigation into intelligence abuses, dragged these assassination plots into the light. Roselli testified. He named names. He described the poison pills, the mob meetings in Miami hotel rooms, the CIA handlers who paid in cash. He became the most dangerous witness in America. And then, in the summer of 1976, Johnny Roselli disappeared. His body was found weeks later stuffed in a 55-gallon oil drum, floating in Dumbfoundling Bay near Miami. He had been strangled, shot, and his legs were sawn off to fit him inside the barrel. No one was ever convicted. The man the CIA chose to do its darkest work was silenced permanently. And whether it was the mob tying off loose ends or something else entirely, the case remains officially unsolved. The government that hired him never publicly acknowledged him as anything more than a criminal. Before I go, here is your historical footnote of the day. In 1962, the same year the CIA was trying to poison Castro's food, the agency also explored a plan to spray Castro's broadcasting studio with a chemical similar to LSD, hoping he would hallucinate on live television and lose credibility with the Cuban people. The plan was formally discussed in memoranda that survived the shredders. It was shelved, but not because anyone thought it was insane. It was shelved because they couldn't guarantee the dosage would work on camera in time. The Cold War didn't just bend the rules, it erased them entirely, and the people making these decisions had presidential authority to do so. That is your footnote for today. A man was hired by his own government to commit murder, then silenced when he talked about it. If that story doesn't make you rethink what stays hidden, nothing will. Subscribe to Weird History. I cover this every single day. See you tomorrow.